Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
From coast to coast, representing we interrupt this Brownstown USA podcast for a breaking news story. LA, please take it away.
All right. Browns fans, thank you for tuning in to Brownstown USA, powered by the three-point conversion. And as Eric said, we have some breaking news here. The Cleveland Browns have just named their next head coach to take over the reins and lead us to the Lombardi. And the coach is Freddie Kitchens. Now, I know we're recording this a little bit later after the news broke, but we wanted to make sure that we got all the details intact to be able to give you the most accurate news surrounding this hire. A lot of changes, Eric, that has gone down, and I definitely want to get into it. But, of course, we will take this quick break to say, hey, look, make sure you follow the three-point conversion at threepointconversion.com. Make sure you follow all the social media on it at 3PTCNVRSN. We are letting go all the breaking news, including this Browns hire and all the coaching hires around the league. So make sure you check that out. And, of course, you can catch us everywhere at Brownstown USA. That is on Instagram. That is on Twitter. And then, of course, our Facebook group at Brownstown USA, a secret group. And in order to join it, you must answer 3 simple questions, and it will gain you access to all the content, all the great discussions. We are just having a ball over there at Brownstown USA on Facebook, so make sure you check it out. Now, Eric, getting jumping right into it, Browns choose to go ahead and take their interim offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, who was previously our running backs coach, a name that we didn't really know nothing about until he called that game in a preseason game where our offense was absolutely amazing in that preseason game. And they took him and promoted him to offensive coordinator after they let go of Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley. How are your overall feelings about this hire?
Well, there's a couple of ways I do feel about it personally. First off, I actually think that it was a smart hire. Look, if Freddie Kitchens had one more good year, he was gone. It doesn't matter how much you wanted to say, he was gone because he was going to get a head coaching job. And that's one thing a lot of people alluded to the Facebook group, and they're not wrong. I mean, look, would it have been a good idea to hire another coach to like a 2-year deal and then next year find out, oh, Kitchens is gone? That would have been the old Browns way of doing it because we've seen it several times.
Absolutely. And overall, as far as what I heard, even more so this year, Eric, is that we could have lost Freddie Kitchens this year. It was a lot of teams out there that wanted to interview Freddie Kitchens as their offensive coordinator. But then apparently there were some rumors out there saying that there was going to be some people that would have interviewed him as a head coach as well already. So basically, I'm thinking and feeling that John Dorsey felt, hey, we got the hot name right now. Let's keep him in-house. He has a great rapport with Baker Mayfield. Why bring somebody else in that will have to get to know Baker, maybe possibly throw some different offensive philosophies at him, maybe take him back a step because he had to learn offense. And like we said on the previous show, is that we were afraid of this, that if the new head coach was somebody from outside of this Browns organization, how different would the offense look? Because everybody feels that when they get hired, they have to change the wheel, as far as, throwing all their old brilliant ideas and everything like that towards it. We just wanted some continuity here. And I think hiring Freddie Kitchens gives us that. He already has a relationship with Baker. He basically is in tune and loves to get the thoughts from the offense. The first thing he did when he became offensive coordinator was ask all the offensive players what were their plays that they like to run. He likes to get ideas from elsewhere. He doesn't feel like he's the smartest guy in the room, which is something that I absolutely love about Freddie.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know that there's two different types of players coaches here. There's the players coach that will essentially allow players to get away with anything, a la Hugh Jackson. And then
Absolutely.
you have the players coach who may not let players get away with everything, but will let them have a say in the plays that they run, a la Freddie Kitchens right now. I mean, that was part of the thing that really added up to it. We'll get more into some of the other side of the argument when we talk about the other coach, but the fact of the matter is, I personally like the hire. I think it's going to be interesting, but there's a couple things that do need to be done soon.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about Freddie Kitchens and his rise to stardom. And then also we'll jump into some other rumors that we heard in regards to hiring and actually just getting to the path of and the choice of hiring Freddie Kitchens as the head coach. This is Brownstown, USA, powered by the 3-Point Conversion. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Diana Taurasi from the Phoenix Mercury, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion Radio.
And we are back, Brownstown, USA. I'm LA, and across from me is Eric. And, of course, we are hitting you with the breaking news. The Browns have hired their next head coach, and it is Mr. Freddie Kitchens. And, Eric, Freddie, you know, he is a true blue-collar guy. I mean, just when you think of a guy with a hammer in a steel mill or something like that, this is Freddie Kitchens, man. I mean, he is a common man's man is what I've heard. And it's the right type of personality for this town here because everybody knows Cleveland is a blue-collar city. Now, I don't know if you heard the story, but apparently, you know, Freddie Kitchens had the story out there about him, you know, battling back from near death with his heart issues and everything that he had in Arizona. To give you a background on Freddie, he's from Alabama. Was a quarterback for Alabama, then rose through the ranks in the NFL, popping around here and there, most notably with the Arizona Cardinals as his previous pro team, also spent some time with the Dallas Cowboys as well. But when you think of Freddie Kitchens, Eric, as an overall personality, what jumps out to you?
Well, that's just the thing. You just said it right there. He is a personality. I mean, look, there are some coaches that'll sit there and just jabber jaw about absolutely nothing. You know exactly which coach it is. And then essentially give you this answer that's really a non-answer. But the one thing that I think he did pick up from Kitchens is you got to keep the media honest. You got to keep the media guessing. Now, he was interesting, but you know what? He also was candid, which I like about the guy. I mean, not many people would open up about the heart thing at all. Most of them would probably be like, meh, it was no big deal. It didn't happen. This guy actually was not afraid to tell the story. And you know what? That to me is what is actually a really good thing because it means that he's not afraid to be open about something. He's not afraid to just lay it out there. Like, he took, and if I remember correctly, he admitted to mistakes during games. He admitted to pride during games. But you know what? That's what you need as a head coach. You don't need this, well, such and such needs to play better. Oh, I'm going to throw this guy under the bus. Look, Kitchens, as I said before, is a player's guy, and he's the right type of player's guy.
All right. So a couple of things that I wanted to jump into with you. First of all, with Baker and also with Kitchens, both guys, I mean, I love the background on them. Both guys weren't pegged as the next guy. They had to battle back. You know, they set records. They broke down the barrier of expectations because nobody was expecting Baker to go number 1 overall. He was a walk-on in college. We know the story. And it seems like the same thing is with Kitchens, you know, just in the ranks, just working hard. Kitchens already said at the presser, which is something that I love, hey, I'm not campaigning for no job. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to work hard and whatever happens, happens. Eric, that's something that you just cannot, you can't impersonate that. You can't be fake about that. The things that we got from our leaders here, head coach and quarterback, is just pure authenticity. Is that how you say it? Yeah, that's how you say it. Just pure, absolutely pure. So I wanted to get into this rumor real quick and see how you felt about this. Apparently there was something going around and swirling around the rumor mill. Browns wanted Mike McCarthy to be the head coach and have Kitchens be the offensive coordinator, but it looks like McCarthy turned it down because McCarthy has his sights set on the New York Jets. However, the New York Jets are considering Mike McCarthy, yes, but they are not as dead set on him as he is on them. We're not going to get into this. We're not Jets news or anything like that, but I just wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on Browns possibly bringing in Mike McCarthy as that head coach and keeping Kitchens as an OC.
Look, I would have, if that happened, I would have trusted Dorsey just because he's done pretty well, and he's got a pretty nice track record at this point in time. That said, I think I would have rather had Kitchens than McCarthy because I was listening to the radio this morning, and some of the stuff that was going on were Green Bay fans saying that he didn't make the playoffs all that often, and that when he made the playoffs, they were usually one-and-done teams. Or they would make it to the next round and then just get smoked or lose embarrassingly. And the example they brought up was the Seattle Seahawks game. Now, I'm going to be honest. McCarthy, to me, I would have liked just because he really built up Baker. He could have built up Baker the way that he built up Rodgers and the way that he really got those last few years out of Favre. The problem is, he would not do a one-year deal more than likely. He would not do a 2-year deal. So if we hired him, McCarthy would be here still, and the guy that we were essentially grooming to be the head coach is probably going to be on his way to Jacksonville or, in some instance, maybe Arizona even.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason why I brought up that rumor and it was so peculiar to me is just because if that rumor is true, does it give you like a kind of sense of a feeling that maybe we settled for Kitchens or maybe we reacted instead of being proactive in a situation about Kitchens? Like, maybe Kitchens was like Dorsey's plan B instead of maybe that plan A. Does that give you any, uncomfortable feeling or anything?
In most circumstances, I would say yes. But, in this situation, not really. I don't know why. I just don't have, like, that inkling that it's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I don't think it was necessarily a plan B. I think it was probably more like a plan 1A and a plan 1B, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, I think what you're speaking to is the fact of what Dorsey has done for this franchise and for the fans in general, and that's just give that overall just feeling of comfort, being comfortable with whatever happens next. No matter, we've seen the Hugh Jackson firing, we've seen the Ty Haley firing, and most people, people would be uncomfortable like watching somebody pick their nose. You know what I'm saying? Like, people would be uncomfortable with that. But at the end of the day, Dorsey stepped in and, just made everybody comfortable and I think just brought an overall sense of calmness over this franchise. Now, real quick, too, before we take our break, Browns, we heard that the Browns FaceTime with Baker during certain interviews. I wanted to get your opinions on that just because of the fact that if I remember correctly, listening to Dorsey's press conference, Dorsey said that, he was asked directly if Baker would have any kind of, inkling or any kind of effect on who they hire. And Dorsey said, not really, we know what Baker wants or whatever like that. But now we hear this report saying that the Browns spaced time with Baker in the interviews. What does that say to you?
Honestly, I think this wasn't about what Baker wanted. I think this was more of a chance to just say, how would he respond to this head coach? Like, we have this guy. How would he respond? I mean, look, that to me is one of the big crucial things is how does a quarterback react to their head coach? Just take a look at what happened with McCarthy, as you brought up. There's been all the speculation about how him and Rodgers were butting heads for the last season or two. If you want to even go as far back, someone like Tom Brady, who has been butting heads with Josh McDaniels at times. Look, as much as we may want to say, oh, well, that's just trying to appease Baker, no, it's because you need to have that chemistry. If you don't have the chemistry, don't have the flow, that's a recipe for disaster.
Right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about Greg Williams' departure. If you didn't know, we will talk about that a little bit more. And then also some other cool things around what we may see and what the outlook is with the Browns. So this is Brownstown, USA. We will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cat Williams, and you are listening to 3 Point Conversion Radio.
This is Brownstown, USA, powered by the 3 Point Conversion. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and on the Facebook group and on Instagram and everywhere and what have you. We have recently switched over to our own tab, meaning that you can now go and search for Brownstown on all the podcasting stations and everything like that. It should pull up. So definitely make sure you go do that. Thank you for listening so far, and we appreciate you guys. So also another change that happened with the Browns organization is that they let go of Greg Williams. Now, Greg Williams was serving as our interim head coach and did a phenomenal job. His record came out to be 5-3, which was something, and actually just kept us excited about even possibly making the playoffs, which was something that we didn't think would even happen. So definitely appreciate Greg Williams for his time and service here, and also just transforming that defense to make them some ball hawks. And you know, the numbers weren't there statistically for him as far as the defense overall, but the defense was definitely very, very exciting. Now, Greg, I just wanted to get – I'm sorry, not Greg, Eric. I got Greg on my mind. But, Eric, I just wanted to get your opinions and thoughts on the departure of Greg Williams.
You know, this really split Facebook. Like, in addition to Brownstown, LA and I are part of at least a dozen Facebook groups as well. It's not because we are not loyal. It's just because we have to keep the masses entertained and informed. But, oh my God, I have never seen such a rift with this whole situation. Speaking personally, I liked Greg Williams. There was some stuff that I did not personally care for, though. And part of it has to do with, as much as I hate to say it, the one job he was brought in to do, and that's the defense in the second half of the year. Like, right after he came in, it seemed like they struggled still. I remember someone said, well, that was his son. Who's his son learning from? Well,
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what his son was there for is to keep an eye on the defense. But at the end of the day, there also was a report out there saying that Greg Williams had or did basically what am I thinking about? Took over. He would take over for his son if the game wasn't going well. And we've seen a lot of times, Eric, let's be honest, we've seen a lot of times in the game where the defense didn't start off that hot, and then after the half, they came out clicking and it got a lot better. Now, in my opinion, I feel that Blake his son called the plays during the first half, and I think Greg probably had to step in and make those second half adjustments. So not always the best there. Also, too, if you remember we were shouting at the top of our lungs and basically almost having an aneurysm because Greg Williams put Jabril Peppers like 50 yards away from the line, and we were screaming for him to come closer to the ball. And that defense didn't look all that good and underperformed those first few years with him until they came into their own this year. And even this year, they still have bad defensive numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that people need to realize, and someone brought this up, and I didn't even think about this. How many times have we seen the Browns be too aggressive at times on defense? I mean, we were seeing them come in with like this full head of steam, and then, whoop, I missed a tackle. That's unacceptable. I mean, look, I get the aggressiveness. I really do. But if it's causing you to miss tackles, you got to make that adjustment. And when those are happening in the second half, something's wrong. And let's face it, we had a lot of broken tackles this year.
Absolutely. We had a lot of broken tackles. We had a bad time basically trying to stop the run. As we seen the Ravens just absolutely carve us up, and any other running back that was back there at the time. I mean, we faced some really good running backs, but, I mean, didn't plan all that well for them at all, except for the Panthers. That was one of the games that really jumped out to me that we were able to bottle up McCaffrey pretty good. Other than that, running backs just ran all over us. So, I like Greg the person. I liked him in interviews. He was very straightforward, answered questions, didn't hide anything. Didn't make any excuses, so he was a non-BS kind of guy. So I definitely love that part about him. But again, it goes back to the point that I said before, Eric, and that is we have to stop rooting for good enough, and we have to start taking our expectations for this team higher than just good enough. And the Browns ranked, I mean, as far as even points allowed, they ranked 21st overall in the league, and that is just not good at all. I mean, even though they look good out there with the turnovers and stuff, that's not good enough, man. We have the talent, I believe, to be in the top 10 as far as defense. And it's just ridiculous that he didn't get that out of defense. So my question to you would be, because not only with Greg Williams' departure, Mary Kay Cabot released an article saying that other assistants have been notified that they will be let go as well. She didn't name any names, but I'm hoping and praying and wishing that Amos Jones is at the top of that list there. I'm sure that you are too. But overall, Eric, because I know you've been digging into this a little bit more, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, certain personnel changes. What are you looking for or hoping for to see in the next coming up days?
Well, the first one, as you just mentioned, Amos Jones. Pack your damn bags and get the hell out of here. Just saddle up on that donkey and beat it. I'm sorry, that's just a personal gripe, but there's been some speculation that Ryan Lindley could take over as offensive coordinator. The thing is, with that said, Freddie Kitchens would still be calling the plays on offense. I mean, no offense, I like Lindley, but this is Freddie Kitchens' world now. We just live in it. So I wouldn't be surprised about that. Someone thinks that Adam Henry's sticking around, but
which I'm not mad at. He did a phenomenal job with the wide receiver core.
No, absolutely.
And hopefully, I mean, what do you feel about our guy Bob Wiley? You think he'll still be sticking around?
Believe it or not, there were a few people that want him gone. I honestly thought he did a good job with the offensive line when he was given the chance. Was the thing. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, PFF released some stats saying that the guards in our line was basically in the top 5 in the league. I mean, Baker barely got touched, towards the second half of the season, like barely got touched. So I can't really blame Wiley for anything on that.
I think Wiley should stay. Honestly, I think the linebackers coach needs to be probably let go of, because that was one of the bigger problems. Our linebackers underperformed greatly, except for Jannard Avery and Kirksey before the injury, really. Schobert missed tackles. Do we even need to talk about the train wreck that was Jamie Collins?
He was on and off, hot and cold. He's definitely stepped up and had some big games, but he's not that. You know how they say with the linebackers, there's that guy that communicates the plays and everything. He's not that quarterback type guy. He is a guy that is good in a supportive role. But the problem is the money that we gave him to stay with us after he was traded to us from the New England Patriots is the problem. And I think the player that we're getting for the type of money that we're paying him is not adding up. I have no problem with Jamie Collins overall, but I think the money doesn't match the playing style right now.
No, I mean, honestly, I think Collins will be gone, but that's a subject for another day. But
Absolutely.
I think the linebacker coach needs to be and given a stern talking to. I think, honestly, the big ones are defensive coordinator, obviously, and that includes Blake Williams, bye-bye. I believe linebacker coach, bye-bye. Lindley, I think, will get a promotion. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's the thing. I mean, this is going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Probably not even a couple of weeks, probably a couple of days, come to think of it. Hell, we could probably finish this up, and I'll go take a nap, and then afterwards, oh, look, we got an offensive and defensive coordinator. Awesome.
Yeah, things tend to move fast when it comes to the coordinator. You want to get your staff put together really fast. So,
especially given that we're seeing prime subjects like Todd Bowles just got picked up. Kubiak by Denver. There's going to be and Cleveland's got to get on their horse right now and hire some people.
Absolutely. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and wrap up everything with a nice, neat bow. This is Brownstown, USA, powered by the 3-Point Conversion. Be right back.
Hey, this is Gary Payton. Y'all listen to 3-Point Conversion Radio. It's the bomb.
And we are back, Brownstown, USA. I'm LA, and of course, I'm always joined with my main man, Eric, aka Stoshball. And we just got done basically big news out there right now. Freddie Kitchens, the new head coach for the Cleveland Browns. Greg Williams has been shown the door, and soon more will follow. So we're going to be keeping an eye out for you guys. Make sure you follow us at Brownstown USA on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We will let you know more as more hirings come. And I'm going to throw it to Eric. It looks like he has some news.
All right, so I don't know what the actual thing is, but someone just told me Zampese is out.
Okay.
There you go.
So Ken that's his first name, right?
Ken, yeah.
Yeah, Ken Zampese is out, and like we said, things will be going as they go, so we'll keep you guys updated. Thank you guys for tuning in to Brownstown USA. Again, the Browns have a new head coach, Freddie Commonwealth Kitchens. Loving it. That's not a dig at him. I love it. He's giving inspiration to the common guys out there. I actually seen a quote from somebody, Eric, that said that they feel that Freddie Kitchens, if he were to win the Super Bowl, would have the Lombardi trophy in one hand and a can of Bud Light in the other hand. I mean, just absolutely awesome stuff right there, man. So anything else that you want to add before we wrap this up?
There is one big thing that we need to touch on really quickly.
Got it. Let's do it.
The defensive coordinator spot. LA, let me ask you, do you feel that if with this hiring, the Browns should be going for a veteran similar to what the Rams did with Wade Phillips and Sean McVay, or do you think that they should continue the youth movement?
No, I actually feel like we should protect Freddie Kitchens just like how we're protecting Baker Mayfield and how the Rams did with Sean McVay. I think that we need to bring in some veteran coordinators that can hold down their spot and do their thing and allow Freddie to be able to concentrate on head coaching duties. We've seen how good Hugh Jackson was, again, like I said, as an offensive coordinator. But when he was promoted to head coach, he had a tough time bobbling back and forth with all the responsibilities that came with the head coaching position, and as well as calling plays on the offense too. It's a tough job to do. Not many people can do it. Not saying Freddie can't do it. I'm just saying personally I'm a little nervous about it. I would love to see some veteran people surrounded by him, especially on that defense, and somebody that's going to come in with the same philosophy to make sure that Myles Garrett stays where he needs to stay. All these people on our defense have been playing at these certain positions. I would hate to see somebody come in and change the entire defensive personality, because I think we are good there. We just need to improve on some of the little smaller things like tackling and stuff, and we will be okay. So, yes, I'm in favor of bringing in a veteran presence for these coordinators.
All right, because there have been some names that have been not linked to us, but that could be interesting. Now, okay, so we're only going to talk about the 4-3 just because that's what we've been running.
Absolutely.
Some names that could be and that I'll throw out, and I know some of these are going to get ugly. Jack Del Rio, Rex Ryan. Yeah, I see you with that one. Let's see.
I don't mind Rex. I don't like Rex, the head coach, but Rex, the defensive coordinator, was a very good defensive coordinator.
Let's see. Who was it? Marvin Lewis.
Please, I don't want any remnants of Cincinnati in the building.
Yeah. Obviously, Chris Richards, but as you said, linked to the Miami job.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for Chris Richards. Nothing is official, but I have heard that Chris Richards is being strongly considered for the Miami Dolphins head coaching job. If he does not get that in Miami, does happen to go a different direction, then definitely will be a name to keep a lookout over.
But yeah, those are the major ones to think about. Is there any other names that run a style that you would like to consider at least?
Not as of right now. Like I said again, there is still, I believe, 3 head coaching jobs still open out there. So it's really going to be interesting to see how and where the names fall. Remember, even with Kingsbury getting the Arizona job, he has still not filled up his staff yet either. So it's going to be very interesting as far as like what names go where. And once that happens, we'll start to get a clearer picture of where the Browns may go. Or, as you said, the Browns maybe need to get ahead of this and just go ahead and get their guys for the coordinator spots instead of letting everybody else go ahead and fill their positions, and then we just pick from the leftovers.
Absolutely. Like, the one name I'm personally looking for, though, Steve Wilkes. That's who I personally would like right now.
Absolutely. And Wilkes was with Arizona, right? Am I not correct?
Yep, he was fired by Arizona, but was originally the defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers.
Right. And I think I heard that name now that you said it, getting bounced around with the fact that him and Kitchens having some ties there. So that'll be very, very interesting to see if that happens. But you know what? That concludes this show of the breaking news of Freddie Kitchens being hired as our next head coach. Definitely leave us a comment, leave us a review, rate us. We would like to know how you feel about the show. And definitely leave us some comments and talk to us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter about how you feel about Freddie Kitchens being named the head coach. We look forward to seeing you guys out there. Again, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Brownstown, USA. We'll see you again soon.
Absolutely. Take care, and we'll hopefully have some more news for you. Later.